Beerus would be about to destroy them, but at that moment there would have been a portal, and someone would come out of it saying, "I come from the future, and I will not let you ruin this story again, Beerus." The power of Beerus had been totally disintegrated by this guy, leaving him stunned to see this. Goku, who was on the ground, was speechless to see the silhouette of that guy, because he was too familiar, so much so that it was hard to believe. He would think that in front of him had Goku Black. It seemed the most logical, but he was wrong. Beerus, somewhat furious, would say to him, "Who do you think you are to come to interrupt a moment like this? Perhaps you've come to share the destiny of these people." But what an idiot. "I'm Goku from the future, and I've come to avoid the terrible damage that you'll do to history if you destroy this planet. I've come from another timeline, which was affected by this, and which in turn created another timeline, which is the only one I really came from. I have come to save them. And I don't understand. What timeline are you talking about?" "Mr. Beerus, he's trying to say that what you're planning to do will create another timeline, since the only fact that I've interfered in time has caused the creation of another timeline in which history took different events. It seems this Saiyan came from one of those alterations in time, and he wants to prevent what at some point was inevitable for his history." "This doesn't interest me, Whis. Besides, what he did is forbidden. And besides, he dares to confront a god of destruction. What happens in his world is not something that really matters to me. I couldn't care less about something like that. I do what I please." "So that guy's me from the future. How strange. His way of being is very different from mine. That means that I'm not the same in all the timelines. How curious. But nevertheless, I don't understand why he wants to save us. How much could it affect the history that Beerus destroys this planet? In my timeline, the events were different, so I can't predict what would have happened. Maybe the fact of avoiding the destruction of this planet made by Frieza caused all this. I didn't believe that history could have been so affected with it. Anyway, I don't regret having done it. I have all my family alive and I'm happy with it." "You don't know what you're saying, kid. In principle, you shouldn't have prevented Frieza from destroying this planet. Believe it or not, that would have served for the balance of the universe. Sadly, that planet should have been eliminated. And now we're all paying the consequences of those acts." He would turn around and see his parents telling them, "I'm his son Kakarot, and I'm sorry for what I just said, but it's the truth. I'm sorry that this will hurt you, but the story needed that annihilation." Gine and Bardock were very confused, because all this about time was something very confusing to them, and for them, that was something that had no explanation. They did not understand what was happening, but they knew that this guy was his son, because of the same appearance as Bardock, although he did not understand why he called himself as Goku. The only one who was really able to understand what was happening was Goku, Beerus, and Whis, because they had knowledge about the interference in time and traveled between timelines. The child Goku would say, "So if you wanted this planet to be destroyed so much, why now you want to save it, when it is Beerus who plans to destroy it?" "That's something you will understand with time, child. For now, you won't be able to understand it. Time itself will speak for me, and that is when you will understand everything. For now, you just have to wait." "And what do you plan to do now? Eliminate Mr. Beerus? Or what do you have in mind? You should know that it's impossible for now." "I'm sorry if I made you believe that I would kill him. That's not within my capabilities. And if I could do it, it wouldn't be done either. This guy's not such a bad person. He's just a bit capricious. Eliminating him wouldn't be the right thing to do. My plan lies in something totally different." "I see, Saiyan. You don't plan to eliminate me. It's a smart decision on your part. But on the other hand, it was a stupid decision to interrupt at this moment. I can't stand being interrupted. I hate it with all my being. And so you'll have to be eliminated with this planet too." King Vegeta didn't understand all this either, but he kept begging for mercy to the god of destruction Beerus. But Beerus wouldn't listen to him, and with one blow, he would leave him unconscious on the ground. Vegeta would see this event and would bother him to the point of wanting to attack the god Beerus. This anger would be launched against Beerus, but Goku, as a child with the little strength he had, would stop him and tell him, "Don't get involved, Vegeta. You're nobody compared to him. Don't commit a stupid act just because of anger. I know I'm not the best example, but reason before doing things." This would calm down Vegeta, and Goku got Vegeta not to do something dumb. Goku from the future would tell the others to stay out of the fight, or they could get hurt. Everyone would ascend and listen to Goku. At that moment, Goku would transform into Super Saiyan, and he would use the Super Saiyan Blue, and then Ultra Instinct, leaving everyone surprised. The angel Whis was stunned, saying, "Surprising. Perhaps a mortal has been able to reach that level. It is something that not even the gods have been able to master. It's the egoist doctrine, a technique in which it is your body that responds for you, something that today practically only angels possess and dominate." Goku would be surprised to see that Goku of the future had reached that state, since let's remember when Goku was reborn, he had not yet used that state, and was totally unaware of it. That's why he was so surprised. Goku of the future not only demonstrated that he possessed the Ultra Instinct, but he also demonstrated that he had mastered the Ultra Instinct, something that was beyond the understanding of everyone who was there. At that moment, Goku from the future would position himself to fight. Beerus would see this and would only stay in the same position, with his arms crossed. But Goku at that moment, without any warning, would attack him. Beerus was so confident that he never thought Goku would manage to hit him. But however, he was so fast that he could hit him in the stomach, which left Beerus gasping for breath. "Not bad, eh? I didn't expect an attack like that. I see you're strong." Beerus would look at him, and in an instant would appear on top of him, trying to grab him by the head. But Goku would give a turn, practically preceding this, which would make him give Beerus a big kick, which made him crash into buildings on the spot. "It can't be! My house was destroyed! Now what am I gonna do?" said one of the inhabitants of the planet. Goku was approaching at extreme speed to finish off with another blow, but Whis would get in the middle of both, and he would stop them, saying, "You have to stop. If this battle continues, it will end up destroying the planet. This simple planet. It's not designed to support those amounts of power and energy. At any moment, it could collapse and destroy itself completely." "Whis, shut up. Do you think I care about this planet? Get away from here. Let me fight. Don't get involved." Beerus would say to him, annoyed, "Sorry, Mr. Beerus. I thought it was important for you to know this information." Beerus would attack Goku in a rage, and both had a very even fight, to the point where no one was able to see the movements of them both. In that fight, who was taking the advantage was Goku of the future. He was being far superior to Beerus at that moment. He was countering all the blows and attacks of Beerus easily. It seemed that Beerus had finally gotten someone to make him beg for mercy, but he was very wrong. Beerus would laugh at that moment, saying, "You really thought you were going to be superior to me, Saiyan? You thought that a mortal with an existence as limited and short as yours could face me, a god of destruction with thousands of years of existence? That would be ridiculous." Goku of the future would think, well, this is what he wanted to get to. Finally, show all his power. It seems that he succeeded. This is what he was really waiting for. Goku boy would look into the eyes of the future Goku, and at that moment he would notice a slight smile on his face, which made him assume that it was part of his plan. And he really wasn't wrong. Whis knew that this was strange, and told Beerus that it was better to stop, because the Saiyan did not seem to be dumb. In this case, he was smart. He knew what he was doing. But Beerus would again ignore the words of Whis, and would do what he wanted. So at that moment, Beerus would reveal all his power, and he would be given a scream that made the whole universe tremble. The inhabitants of the other planet somehow felt this, and somehow they also began to feel shivers and fear, because of the energy they were perceiving. Did not seem to be something good. Meanwhile, in the place of Zeno-sama, Great Zeno-sama saw what happened. Now it seems that a Goku from another timeline has appeared in this one, because of the alertness of history. I told him that the timelines at the same time created other timelines, and this could not be good for the existence of things. I know, Daishin-kan. I know that this was going to bring consequences, but I trusted that this saying could remake history and improve it. Maybe I did not assume what all this would entail. Even so, I think there's a bigger problem. This guy's caused that now god of destruction Beerus uses all of his power. I think it is time to intervene. No, Sir Zeno-sama. Remember what we talked about before. We would not interfere in this. We are only spectators of what happens in this spectrum. But Daishin-kan, don't you see? The objective of all this is that Saiyan Goku stays alive. You understand that if Beerus destroys all that, the plan will have been a failure, and everything I did would have been for pleasure. But Great Zeno-sama, you have to understand— Shut up, Guardian. You get back into this, and I will eliminate you. Sorry, Great Zeno-sama. I will not do it again. Sir Zeno-sama, maybe that Saiyan came from the future, knows what he's doing. And maybe it was his idea that Beerus would use all of his power. Start to think. Why would someone come from the future to face someone that he knows is not capable of defeating? Meanwhile, Beerus, with all of his power, would launch himself against the Saiyan with a great destructive aura surrounding his body. But at that moment, he remembered how in his timeline, King Kai had taught him a secret technique. He would remember how King Kai told him, "Goku, this time I'll teach you a technique that nobody knows. It's something that I learned hundreds of years ago thanks to the fact that I was developing it for a long time. But I never got to use it because it is very powerful. It requires too much power. A very great power. And what is the purpose of this technique you want to teach me? What is it? It's about creating a dimensional portal to trap very powerful beings in another dimension, justly created to contain them, and they cannot escape. But to open these portals and lock them, you need the same power that the enemy has to open the portal necessary to trap him. The usefulness of this technique is somewhat stupid, because why would you want to lock someone away that has the same or less power than yours? When this does not represent a threat to you, it is only a potential technique that no one would ever need because it would be absurd. But I'll teach it to you, because it's important that you know it. I want you to acquire the same knowledge as me in techniques. If someday I cease to exist, at least you'll have the living memory of my teachings. Alright, King Kai, teach me that technique. I want to learn it. Beerus would be about to hit Goku from the future, but Goku would say, Soul Locker! Goku from the future had harnessed Beerus' own power and used it against him, creating a portal with the God of Destruction's own energy. Damn, why is this? Why my sight is getting blurry? I can't move! I'm sorry, Beerus. You wanted this to happen. In that instant, Beerus would disappear from that place, because he had been locked away by his own power. The others were speechless when they saw what he did. King Vegeta would kneel before him, thanking him. Goku would approach the Goku of the future, but that Goku would fall to the ground in base state. This had consumed all of his energy, and with a small smile he said, I did it. I could save them. Whis would put his hands to his head and say, Sorry, Mr. Beerus, and I was well warning you. But you trusted me. Now look what happened to you because of that. I hope you reflect wherever you are. Some time would pass, and Goku from the future would recover and tell them, Well, I think my work here's done. I'm leaving this place. But don't leave. I need to ask you some important questions. Goku would say this, but when he realized Goku from the future had already disappeared. Meanwhile, in the place of Zeno-sama, he knew that the Saiyan had something on his hands. You were right, Daishin-kan. Then everything was better for now. It seems that we will no longer have to intervene. It'll be exciting to see how all this continues. Ah, great Zeno-sama. I think you should not get so excited. That seal will not be able to contain Mr. Beerus for long. In fact, it seems that he